time. Doing gang things, living super clean. That done came up. Can't control us. One time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control us. Look at you, you done came up now. Get it how you live, mess the game up now. Ain't messing with yoga, but get the flame up. Hey, used to be Toby, but got your name back now. I see ya, paid under pressure. 25 lighters got them all on the dresser. If it ain't for you, ain't for you then. If you a lame or a sucker, wanna dress you then. Grown up now, bump the childish ways. Got a wife and a bunch of kids to raise. Punch a clock side hustle or a business you endure to ensure that all the bills is paid. Slow clap for your homeboy. Could've turned out like your homeboy. Been on the same block, cooking up the same rock on the cell block lot with your homeboy. But no, you had vision, you had goal. Brand new you on the old time road. Take care of home where you bust your low. Black men don't teach, screaming bomb the hoe. Real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom, boy, you PD grade. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the folk that have moved up. Even if you had a slow start screwed up. Used to gang bang, now homie brewed up. Had a little plan, I had them blew up. Look at you like a man right now. Dressed to the T, smelling like a grand right now. And you ain't got nothing from a handout now. Just faith and hard work gets it planned out now. You could've took a bunch of dusty rolls. The hand dealt with a bunch of cards to fold. To stay hot while the world is freezing cold. The same plot, but the story's never old. Slow clap for your kinfolk. Could've been asking what your info. Prosecutor could be trying to do you in for the 2020 twins, so you passing out the info. But no, you had purpose, you had plans. I ain't throwing nothing, I'ma say these bands won't impress y'all, don't need no fans. That ain't my God, who is that man? This real men talk, real king ways. Still in captivity, but minds ain't slave. Got a little wisdom while you peek these grades. Giving out the knowledge on the stoop these days. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. Yeah, real man. Sheesh. Yeah. Doing cane things. Living super clean. That it came up.
1 time for my king doing king things. Mom these hoes cause he know he got a good thing. I submit and I cook and I clean and I never hold back on that pop. I'ma let it rain. Made me honest, I got a ring. All praises to the most high, let it sing. A real man able, sister never came. And I ain't going nowhere, this is not a game. Look at you, girl, you lonely right now. Settling for bums instead of men the most high. He provide and protect so he get our respect. And he leading us aboard when them chariots fly. I don't really think you hear me though. You can't cross this bridge on some billy goats. Let them save you in the end like a Seminole. BS help me, shout let the silly go.
1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up. 1 time for the men doing cane thing. Dead fresh to the T, living super clean. 3 times for my folk that done came up. 4 times cause the man can't control up.
Yo. Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono. Where I'm at? There's my buttons. Good evening to you all. Happy Thursday. Thank you so much for being here with me. I realize you could be anywhere in the world, but you are here with me, even if it's just virtually, and I appreciate that. Thank you so much. Give yourselves a hand. You're obviously making good decisions right now. I got my little fan with me. Let me get her set up here. How's the school year going? Like, it's like, I don't know. This school year's like hit the ground running. Like, we are going. But all praises, like, everything's going good. The boys are doing well. I hope that you guys are doing well. I hope your kids are doing good at school. Speaking of school, got a few things to talk about with kids and education and some unfortunate events that have happened this week. But not as long as I want, since I haven't seen you in so long. Thank you for joining me. Yeah. So let's get to the other stuff. Please allow me to introduce myself. I go by Miss Mono's World, these content creators from Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, all the places the content creators be. Like, share, subscribe, whatever the action is on your preferred platform. If you are not on the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue MONLOGMAD. There you can see past podcast episodes. You can catch some visuals. My hair is doing a thing. You can catch some visuals over there. Y'all know how to reverse screen thing be. Good night. You can catch some visuals over there, past episodes, all the wonderful things. You can see my wonderful husband if you have not already, Mr. OK himself. That is at the YouTube at Monologue. All right, shout out to my audience on Nasaya TV. If you have not already downloaded the Nasaya TV app, please go ahead and install your smart TVs, your Fire Sticks, all those good things. I can't keep up with what all is out right now. Okay. So like I don't like talking about sad stuff. I really don't. Like I prefer if we never had to. So I guess we'll go ahead and address this and get it out the way so we can move on. There was the school shooting yesterday in Minnesota, and it was at a Catholic school. Okay. So first of all, yes, we are going to send our prayers to the families that are suffering, to the kids that are going through. What made this school shooting a little more controversial than the other ones, because they're all tragedies, right? But with this one, it happened at a Catholic school, and they were in prayer when the shooting happened, right? So of course now the whole thing is, oh well, the prayers didn't work. He still came and shot up the school. You can keep your thoughts in your prayers because they were praying when they got shot, blah 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 blah. And I get that sentiment. I mean, I'm a human, right? And it's like, God, how could you let something like this happen when these kids were praying at the school? But before the response from the public to be, oh, we're not going to pray for the families. That's just that. Listen, none of us have the answers to anything. We are well aware that we are not living in the world as the creator intended for us to be. Just even if we just, not even the world, just the country we live in, the system we live in, the media that we are constantly being fed. And I don't want to expand too much on the issue and keep making it about other things, because the transgender issue is coming up, the religious issue, the mind control issue. Like we have all these different issues, but at the end of the day, there are children who left for school in the morning and that was the last time their parents got to hug them. And I couldn't handle that. I could not handle that. I don't care if you want to call it a false flag attack. I don't care what you want to call it. The fact of the matter is, this is still being reported. This is being repeated. Okay. There are people out there that are hurting behind this. And for the response, for like the overall response to be, oh, well, there's nothing we can do about it, is wild to me. And I am going to also go ahead and say this: gun control is not the answer. Okay. Because here's the thing about gun control. You want law abiding citizens to turn over our equalizer against the criminals. How does taking guns away from people who keep the law going to make anyone safer? I just don't understand that. A criminal is not going to follow the law just because you change it. Like all of a sudden they're going to be like, oh, they want us to turn in our guns. Okay, yeah, we should turn in our guns. No, That's not the answer at all. If you ask me, the answer is more good guys with guns. That's the answer to me. You're not going to get rid of it. I get into this conversation with my friend a lot because she does work for the public school system. And we get into this back and forth a lot. And honestly, I realized that at the end of the day, all anyone wants to be able to do is to send their kids to school and to know that they are coming home safe. That's all we want. And that is where our thoughts and prayers should be. That is where our prayers should be. Okay, you feel like you don't want to pray for these people, man, keep it to yourself. Like, it's so much going on right now. Keep it to yourself. But yes, thoughts and prayers for those families, and that community. All right, now that we've gotten that out the way, and I hope I'm not sounding insensitive. Like, I don't want to be insensitive about it at all. That's not what I'm trying to do. Sorry, y'all. Just toying with the lights here. I'm not trying to be insensitive about it at all. I just, I don't like it. I don't like it at all. So now the issue is that there have been multiple school shootings recently, and all of the alleged shooters are transgender. So now we're getting into the whole being gender dysphoria is a mental illness. We're getting into that whole conversation, and I don't know where this is going to go. I would just like to take this time to personally shout out my husband, who makes it possible for me to educate our kids at home. I'm telling you, every time I hear one of these stories, it just reaffirms my resolve to educate my children at home. Thank you so much, Atticus, ladies and gentlemen. Atticus, can you bring me a spoon? Can you get one out the dishwasher? I ran the dishwasher. Please. Or a plastic one. Thank you. Okay, just grab a plastic spoon for me, please. Thank you so much. Y'all know I'm putting Atticus to work, but I love my baby. He bought me a straw for my tea, and I can't do nothing with that. I can't do nothing with that at all. Angelina, Shalom, thank you for joining me. Derek Douglas, you have to be able to protect. Derek Douglas, thank you for joining me. So sorry. You have to be able to protect. If you can't have guns, what happens with someone with a gun attack? Exactly, and that's what I'm saying. The good guys are the ones that need to have the guns. There was a shooting here a few weeks ago at a park in Atlanta, and I think one person was shot, but nobody else. Either he pulled the gun out and shot a person, or he just pulled the gun out, and they were able to stop what could have been a bigger tragedy. So good guys with guns is always the answer. I don't care what nobody says. Like, gun control, that is crazy. Gun control is crazy. It's like we're going to take everybody and tie up their hands only if you submit to it. The criminals are not going to submit. Thank you so much. They don't submit now. My husband, ladies and gentlemen, these people around here love me so much. I love them, but then they love me too. Okay, so yeah, me and my family will stay armed. If I don't even like going into places where I can't bring my emotional support tool. I don't like that. How I'm gonna count on you to defend me? I can't. The police ain't gonna get there in time. Nobody's gonna do anything. I can't expect somebody to come and lay down their life for mine. My husband makes sure I'm very well equipped out here in these streets. He makes sure that the gas is full in the car. He makes sure the car is clean and safe and the brakes work and the tires and all that good stuff. And he makes sure I have my emotional support tool with me. So, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It just proves the point. Just goes to prove the point. Speaking of kids in schools, I don't know how many of you all have heard about Teacher Bay. I found her old Twitter account. This is nobody I'm interested in following on social media, so it was not a big deal for me to go and find her current socials. And I mean, they're everywhere anyway. All you have to do is kind of just Google it or put it in your TikTok search engine or whatever the case may be, and it will pop up. Okay, but even on her old profile here, okay, and just in case you aren't familiar with Teacher Bay, You'll get it. First thing you see, boom, is a Bible verse. 1 Corinthians 13:4 and 8. Okay. And this is the love is patient, love is kind, blah, blah, blah. And I hate to do this. I hate to say this, but every freaking time y'all feel the stereotype. You put a Bible verse in your bio and then proceed to post pictures like this. The exaggerated hip out. The exaggerated hip out again. Okay, booty, breast, all over the place. And apparently it looks like this was in the summertime when she was taking these pictures. Okay, here we go. Perfect example of a picture of her in a classroom exaggerating the hip again. Okay. Listen, another reason I'm glad I don't send my kids to school. We've got y'all. I'm concerned for this lady. I'm not concerned for her. I'm concerned for the kids in her class, because why do little young boys have to come to school? And I'm assuming it's a brightly colored class, so we're going to say elementary. Looking at the carpet here, they still have the alphabet on the carpet. So let's say kindergarten, maybe first graders. Listen, I have a 7-year-old and a 10-year-old. Okay. Derek, actually, yes, we're on YouTube right now at Monologue McGad. Let me find here we go, right here. We are on YouTube right now at Monologue McGad, MONOLGAD. So go on over there, like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications, all that good stuff. So okay, listen, I have a 7 and a 10-year-old. Okay. And they very much know that they like girls. Like, they understand that they like girls, and they are aware of their feelings toward women. Okay. Not only that, my husband and I are very affectionate in front of our children. They see us hug, they see us kiss, they see their daddy grab my behind. Like, they know what certain body parts are for. We got to stop acting like she's not sticking out her butt and her breasts and her boobs to be attractive to males. Okay. And then y'all got to stop acting like you get to pick and determine at what time these boys and their feelings and urges wake up, especially when they're being provoked by a teacher who is coming in dressed provocatively. And I know what you're going to say. How is she dressed provocatively? You know how y'all like to do. She can't help that her body is like that. No, but she can cover that mess up. She can cover it up. I dress a certain way when I'm with my husband that is different from when I'm alone. When I'm alone, I will have on a longer shirt, a longer sweater, a caftan, something that is going to cover my behind. Why? Because I know it can cause a problem. So I'm going to keep it covered when I'm not with my husband. I'm so tired of y'all nasty old heifers getting out here and praying over our young boys. I'm tired of these boys can't even go to school to get an education without being assaulted by your body. Keep that mess under wraps. There's no listen, you want to be a OnlyFans hoe, an Instagram model, do that on your own time. But the whole making it teacher bae thing, and if you look at the pictures that are floating around of her currently, she's dressed the same way in front of these classrooms. She's standing in the door. In one picture, she's standing in front of the door with a tight skirt on, a sleeveless top, and then those horrible, I call them streetwalker shoes because I hate them, but those horrible square toe stringy sandals that you lace up the calf. I've never seen anybody wear them horrible hoe strollers in a professional environment. Why is it okay for you to wear that in front of kids? Put these teachers on a dress code. You so worried about the students and what they're doing. Put these teachers on a dress code if they can't figure out how to conduct themselves in front of children. Do y'all not doing background checks anymore? Start checking these. Listen, stop letting hoes be teachers. That's it. Stop letting hoes be teachers. Stop it. Check their social media. If they out here dressed like a trollop, no, you can't teach here. I don't want my kids exposed to that. Well, that's not fair. I deserve a life too. No, you decided to be an example for young minds. You keep your private life private. You can't be a hoe and a teacher. You can't be a hoe and a teacher because that's all she's trying to do. She's trying to use the school setting to sell her sexual fantasy. And in a country where pedophilia is at an all-time high, and again, as per usual, it's the Black women supporting her. It's Black. She look good. Y'all just hating. It's not her fault she got a body. Nobody's blaming her. But if I come outside with my dog and my dog get to biting people, I can't say it's not my fault my dog got teeth and y'all just happen to be standing here. No, you're going to tell me control that dog. Well, surprised she didn't have Proverbs 31 in her bio. That's her go-to. It is, right? Oh, virtuous woman. You're absolutely right. Derek, thank you for flipping over to the YouTube. That was Shlan. Shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. I used to be a teacher. She's tripping, especially with a scripture in her bio. I believe a woman should be modest out in public. The scripture, and that's what I'm saying. It never fails, right? You hear so many comedians say this, and you want to be like, no, that's not true. All of them aren't like that. But come on, I don't make the story. I'm just talking about it, okay? I'm just talking about it. Brianna, shalom and shalom, sis. Thank you for joining me. The whole show. Yes, that's what they call. Y'all know the shoes I'm talking about too. Them horrible sandals. The heel don't be too high, but it's usually a thicker heel, and the toe is square, and it's just strings at the top, and then they tie it up their calf. The whole strollers. And they should not be, I'm sorry, the teachers need a dress code. They do. You don't know how to conduct yourself. You need a dress code. And see, we want to complain, right? When people want to come in with authority and dictate a certain level of modesty. But when you see stuff like this, it's kind of like, well, how can you blame them? Right? Like, I don't know if you guys have seen Handmaid's Tale. I love Handmaid's Tale. But it talks about how women were just getting out of hand and they had to be controlled. They stopped having babies. They stopped being respectful. They stopped wanting to get married, which is exactly what we're seeing right now. You want to be strong, independent women, but you don't know how to conduct yourself in front of children. And this just goes back to what I was talking about last week. You don't care enough about these kids. Why are you a teacher? Why are you an educator? I thought you became an educator to positively influence, to uplift, and to support the next generation that's coming up behind us. But that does not look like what's going on here at all. And it concerns me because, like I tell y'all a lot of times, I'm old enough to remember when you could hear a crime and know what race committed the crime. Right? Like I can remember watching the news and you would hear about a murder and, well, it's a Black person. Okay. You would hear about a kid being kidnapped and they would show the picture and, yep, it's a white person. Here they go. Something happened to a kid. Yep, it's a white person. Here they go. But now I remember when only white teachers was having sex and having babies and marrying their students. But now it's the Black teachers doing it too. And if she's not sleeping with a student, she's on her way. She's on her way. Don't put her in a high school. She don't belong in an elementary school. She don't belong around kids, period. If she's in Atlanta, go on, take her down to Fulton County and get her little stripper license and put her where she really wants to be. Put her where she wants to be. Right. You worked in the public schools, and I'm sure you never went to school dressed up. There's no reason for that. Take us back to the time of formal attire. Okay. Look, okay, that's gonna get us into my topic. So let's go. My baby made me some tea. I'm waiting for it to cool off because I want to sip it so bad. He loves this cinnamon apple tea. My mom gave it to him one time, and ever since then, that's it. I'm sorry, y'all. Okay. All right. Even with all of that, she still ain't married. They never be married. They never are. That profile was from 2016. It's been 9 years. You've been showing your boobs and shaking your butt on social media, and you still out here single, still teaching. That's what's crazy. Your life ain't changed at all. That doesn't make any sense to me. Handmaid's Tale, yes. I cannot wait until they come out with the prequel. I think it's a prequel or sequel or whatever. I cannot wait for that. My mom has been a teacher for 40 plus years, and the way these young people dress it is ridiculous. And then not only that, but what kind of example are you setting for the girls? Not only are you hypersexualizing these boys, you're also hypersexualizing these girls. I was watching Abbott Elementary, and I know it's a comedy, right? Haha. But we started it all over from season 1, episode 1, because it's on Max now, if you want to go watch it. And in the beginning, one of the teachers says, sometimes we're like a second parent, or sometimes we're their only parent, okay? And you understand this being a teacher. You're supposed to know the community that you're working in. Bump all that. Being a Black woman, you understand how life can be for some Black children. I'm sorry, this woman is a predator. Her and other women like her are predators. If you are not ready to be in a motherly, nurturing, matronly role, then you should not be an educator. Go and work in the cafeteria or something. Like, just pick another profession. But if you're not ready to be in a motherly role, you should not become a teacher. All right, so main topic: why Boaz don't want your ass? You two Ghetto, okay? And that's why I said this is all gonna tie in. So, a few days ago, I was watching a video on YouTube from a financial guy, and he was talking about this something called prole drift, not pole drift. Prole drift, PROLE, as in the protilliterate, y'all history people, help me out. The proliterate class, the working class, okay? And so in the phenomena of the prole drift, behavior from the upper classes starts trickling down to the lower classes, right? Something that was once considered elite and special is now available to everyone. Let's look at stuff like okay, let's take cars, right? When a car first comes out, it's a 2025, 2026. This year will be a 2026, right? And only the rich of the rich can have it. It's top of the line, Rolls Royce, top of the line, Bentley, whatever. Only the elites can have it. All right. But after the elites have finished playing with it for a while and they don't want it anymore, now the not so elites can begin to afford this thing, and now it becomes old. It's like, nah, we don't want that anymore. Okay. Same thing with the BBLs, right? The Kardashians kind of blew up the whole BBL thing. And hear me clearly. I understand that girls was getting butt shots before the Kardashians. Okay, I was in the club when girls was coming in there with their butts looking like golf balls. So I know that this is a thing before the Kardashians, but I'm talking about as far as making it acceptable to others. Okay, they were the ones that kind of put it on TV for everyone to follow. But now that the BBL has spread and everybody has one, you see some people trying to go back to an anti-BBL movement. Well, it's not anti-BBL, it's more like pro Ozempic. And when you're on that Ozempic, I don't think you can keep fat anywhere. So now we see it moving in another direction, even with the Ozempic. Okay. Remember when it was like $1,000, $12,000 a month? And you know, if you weren't rich, you couldn't get Ozempic. And even people who needed the medication were complaining because it's like all these chicks is taking the medicine just because they want to get skinny. Meanwhile, I'm about to die from freaking diabetic shock over here, right? But now the GLP-1s are everywhere. You have the what is the word I'm looking for? The pharmacies that make it on their own. Gosh dang it. The word is going to come to me in the middle of the night. I know it. But so now you have these other apothecary type places, compound pharmacies. There we go. You have a compound pharmacy where they can get this stuff and make it on their own. And so now it's more widely available. Okay. So these are the kind of things I'm talking about when I talk about pro-drift, right? But what seems to be occurring to me in our current day is the exact opposite. And what I mean by that is we are not picking up the behaviors of the elites. The behavior is not going from the top down. Now it seems like those who we once thought were elite are picking up the behavior of the lower classes. And the behavior is going from the top up. Well, what do I mean by that? There was a time, and we talked about this last week when we were talking about if you love your kids. There was a time when a Black woman would not be caught dead being a pregnant teenager. And I'm not saying there weren't pregnant teenagers always. As a matter of fact, before Rosa Parks was picked as the face of a civil rights movement, there was a younger Black teenage girl who was asked to go to the back of the bus. But because she was unwed and pregnant, they considered her not good enough to be the face of the movement. And I know what y'all are going to say. Oh, that's so unfair. That's so unfair. You only think that's unfair because you live in a world now where you believe that anybody should get to do whatever they want to do and everyone should be treated the same no matter what. And you have an issue with respectability politics. But I'm here to say that we have got this all wrong. We have got this all wrong. We have to go back to having boundaries. We have to go back to having law, and we have to go back to having order. Okay. And to continue with what we were saying, take me back to the time of formal attire everywhere. Please take me back to that time, because it seems like as soon as you give a little inch, the slide to hell starts. I remember your skirt had to be down to it had to be past your knees. Your skirt had to be past your knees. The shirt, if it was sleeveless, them sleeves was tight on you. Wasn't nothing extra showing. So we went from the skirts past the knees to the jeans. They started letting us wear jeans Friday night in Bible study. And then, we got to keep the youth interested. So yeah, you can wear your jeans to church on Sunday. And that was only every fourth Sunday. Okay. Go with me if you grew up in church in the 90s. All right. So your youth Sunday, you could wear jeans, and then like Friday night service, or if you were coming after Bible study, after school, then you could wear your jeans or whatever. But now we're to the point where people come to church, and I'm using church because this used to be the place where you were sure to put your best foot forward. This is the house of the Lord. Even though we understood that the Spirit of God doesn't live in buildings made by man, this is a place where we said we were going to come to congregate and worship the Lord together. So we're going to have a little respect here because we want God to honor our work. So we are going to try to respect him and his presence as much as we possibly can. But what the hell is going on now? We don't even care in church anymore. And past that, okay? Because I know some of y'all are going to be like, well, I never cared in church and blah, 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 blah. Cool. I remember a time when you just didn't do certain things around your parents and around certain elders. As a matter of fact, I have an uncle that is part of the community, okay? And let me tell you this, I didn't know my uncle was part of the community until I was grown. Why? Because I was a child and that wasn't any of my business. Mind you, there were times when we would all live together. When my family lived, when me, my mom, and my brother would come to New Jersey from Germany, my uncle, my mom, my brother was in one bedroom. My uncle was in another bedroom. My aunt and her kids was in this bedroom. My grandma was in this bedroom. So we were all in the same apartment, very close with each other. And I never had any idea that my uncle was batting for the other team. Because you just didn't do certain things in front of kids. There's just certain conversations you never had in front of kids. I never saw any of my uncle's special friends until I was a freaking adult. Where is the sanctity of anything anymore? How come nothing is important enough for you to say, I want to protect this. I don't want to destroy the innocence of this. You all care more about not scuffing your latest bag or your latest pair of shoes than you do about preserving the innocence of those or preserving the dignity of the elders around you. And what do I mean by preserving their dignity? Listen, if the elders are telling you, baby, we don't want to see that, we don't want to hear that, put it away. Don't do it in front of them. Why is that so hard? Y'all have really taken it too far because I can scroll TikTok right now and there are pictures of young people beating up on their grandparents. Because nothing is precious anymore. And you know what? It starts when the kids are little. You don't teach them that anything's important. Even more than that, you don't teach them that they are important. And so if they are never taught that they are important, why would they feel like anything else is important? You have a person who grows up and feels like they're not important. So what's the point of me following the rules? What's the point of me trying to go along to get along? Nobody cares about me and nobody's coming to do anything for me. Instead of us adopting the characteristics of those in better socioeconomic conditions, because it's not just white people. It's not just white people. There's a whole black middle class. There's a whole black upper class. Okay. And instead of us adopting their traditions of marriage, children, legacy building, we somehow have let the contemporary, not just contemporary, in the sense of, 2020s, but hey, it's been going on for as long as I can remember. But the messages that we've been fed in the media have always been derogatory, right? Whether it be rappers, whether it be the rash of project gangster movies that we had to endure, of Menace to Society, Boys in the Hood, Poetic Justice, like all this just back to back, same old downtrodden, woe is me, I'm poeing in the ghetto movies that we were just constantly given as our representation. And here's what's crazy, because we begged for the representation. We need representation in media. Representation is important. But like I told y'all before, when you come to my party, you're going to party by my rules. So, okay, you want representation, I'm going to represent you the way that I see you. because it's my party, it's my program. And before y'all get here and saying, well, if we had more Black voices in the media, that would be different. You're a lie. John Singleton is the #1 purveyor of freaking hood movies. Let's not talk about what your boy Tyler Perry is doing. We need more Jordan Peels. We need more Spike Lees who are going to give us more diverse and cumulative stories. And I'm going to go ahead and tell y'all, I'm tired of Lena Waithe. I'm tired of Lena Waithe. I have never seen a lesbian interaction. I've never seen any lesbian material that is of my own doing. It's like, surprise, here it is in the show. And here's what we fail to understand. Anything that has a production behind it is romanticized. This is why we could watch TV and see quote unquote homeless people on movies and in TV that look nothing like the real homeless people in real life. Why? Because if I show you the real, you're not going to watch it. If I put too much reality in here, it kind of breaks the fantasy. It kills the direction of where I'm trying to get you to go. So I can't have it too crazy. I mean, listen, I told y'all I love a good period piece. Gilded Age. I don't even watch Bridgerton anymore. Don't get me started. But like Gilded Age, Game of Thrones, Chief of War. Just to name like a few of the recent ones that I've enjoyed. Right. Every time you see these people, they're clean, they're pristine, their clothes are clean, their hair is done, and they're all shiny. But when you go back to read about how they really lived back then, they were only taking baths once a year. They didn't have any hygiene or sanitary cares in the world. In fact, I just like came off a deep dive about how the European queens thought that lice were a sign of God's blessing. So they would walk around with the lice falling out their hair and on their faces. One of my favorite places in the world, the Palace at Versailles, was built in the same century as the Taj Mahal. Yet and still, the Palace at Versailles, they could not figure out how to do the plumbing when the Taj Mahal had multiple stories of plumbing at the same time. It's almost like we yearn to pick the lowest form of behavior that will allow us to exist. And there was a time when people who took this route were shunned and they were outcast because it's like, okay, that's not where we're going. When the Israelites were starting out in the wilderness and Moses went up to get the laws, and the Most High starts speaking. This is all in Exodus. The Most High starts speaking. And then after the first 10, the people are like, you know what? We can't take this no more. You deal with this. It's kind of like how we are today with our low attention spans. It's kind of how you have to, nowadays, you have to put everything visual. You have to make everything bright. You have to make everything colorful, or else people aren't going to want to pay attention. You know, one of the most stressful things about doing this show, trying to figure out something that's going to hold people's attention. Because if it's not fast moving and it's not glittery and it's not absolutely fun and it's not simple and it's not something I can digest in a few seconds, then the people are gone. We're at a stage in time right now where even people who seek to educate have to always make sure they are entertaining in order to keep people's attention. And I want to just say that, like, we have to stop doing that because everything can't be entertainment. Everything can't be fun. And that's the problem. We don't want to address any serious issues. We just want to have a good time. And anytime anything serious comes up, the first thing we want to say is, oh, leave them alone. Leave them alone. They're not doing anything. They're not bothering you. You're just a hater. Because it's easier than taking a look at what we're doing and saying, hey, maybe we need to make some changes here. I'm sorry, y'all. Give me a second. My nose is cooperating today. Sorry about that, y'all. I told y'all my basement allergies be acting up. Like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications so you know when we go live here. Okay. So, where was I? So yeah, so they're at the mountain, and God gave Moses the first 10 commandments: thou shalt not, thou shalt not, thou shalt not, blah blah blah. And then the people are like, hey, this is too much for us. I would imagine it's like you get up and you start introducing yourself. And because your introduction is not sparkly and shiny, everybody just kind of starts walking away and leaving. And that's what we do these days, right? We'll flip on something. And if it's not shiny and sparkly right at the beginning, we're more than likely to leave. I understand why. Okay, let me finish that story. So, they're like, "Hey, go get the rest of the commandments. We don't want to hear this anymore." So Moses goes and gets the rest of the commandments. Meanwhile, you have some who choose to come down and start to worship idols. They had their priests build them a golden calf, and they start worshiping this golden calf because they didn't have enough patience, attention span, interest, desire, or whatever to stay and listen to the thing that was meant to build them up. I'm going to go over here with this thing that's shiny and glittery and makes me feel good right now. We cannot say in the Black community that we are often given people to look up to. We can't really say that. We're not often shown a wholesome Black family. We are not often given a show with a mom who's submissive and listens and cooperates with her husband, who's out here working full time and providing for the family. And they have a son who is very much a man. He likes girls. He's very sure in his masculinity. And they have a daughter who's very sure in her femininity, and she likes boys. And her daddy's trying to keep them away from them. And we don't get this often. The Cosby Show in that era may have been the last time. Okay, no, Moesha. Okay, so like the late 90s. When you're not given any good thing, and it's like continuously feeding junk food, right? It's continuously feeding junk food. Here go the vegetables over here, but nobody wants them because they don't taste good. Living right is not always fun. Holding up a standard does not always taste good, right? They say that the things that are good for you are often not good to you. No, it's not always easy to be mindful of how you present yourself. No. Yes, it is going to take some changing of your mind because we were not taught to conduct ourselves in that manner in general. Like in general, we here in modern America, we women are not taught to consider the environment that we are going to be in when we are picking our clothes. In fact, we have been told that it is everyone else's problem how the way a woman may dress makes them feel. So if said woman wants to come out of the house in this, they call it a skirt these days. I don't know what this thing is that they're wrapping around their waist with just enough fabric to cover their top of their behind, but not the bottom of their behind, particularly the entire crack is hanging out. You're walking around. You're sitting in seats that other people have to sit in. You're going to family places where people with children have to see how you are dressed. And you know what? I have it, like, it must be terrible to be a man. I'm gonna say that. It must be terrible to be a man. Because again, y'all want men to act like they're not supposed to be attracted to the female form. Attractive, the utility of a body is not something that you can turn off and on. I can't decide that, okay, I want to show my breast and I want to show my behind, but I don't want them to be sex objects right now. So I'm going to flip some kind of imaginary switch and the whole world is going to be able to look at me and say, oh, yeah, those are just boobs. They're just boobs. That's just her butt. It's just a dookie maker. It's nothing. Nasty and annoying. Absolutely. And here's what's crazy, right? I was on the phone with somebody today. I was on the phone with my mom and I was telling her about a phone call I had. And the lady introduced herself as doctor, right? Dr. So-and-so. So I was like, okay, Dr. So-and-so. Mind you, this has nothing to do with the conversation. I did not call her about any kind of advice or anything that would require her to introduce herself to me as Dr. So-and-so. But okay, Dr. So-and-so. And so we had the conversation or whatever. And at the end of the conversation, I was like, well, no, throughout the conversation, I was very calm. I was very like, okay, yes, thank you. I just had a question. Thank you. I appreciate you answering the question. And at the end of the conversation, I was like, it was a pleasure speaking with you, doctor. And she just got to giggling and kikiing and ooh and everything else. I didn't have to do that, right? I didn't have to do that. But I knew that it would work. I knew that it would leave her with a good feeling about me because clearly this doctor thing is important to you. So I'm going to acknowledge that in our conversation. And now in your mind, I respect you at the level that you were looking for me to respect you at when you introduced yourself to me as doctor instead of whatever your name is. Okay. And so now I'm saying that to say there are some people out here who really feel like they're smarter than the rest of us. No, they really feel like we who don't agree with this new body positive, gender dysphoric, body dysphoric, I can run to the doctor and get it fixed. Where's a BBL? Where's an injection? They feel like those of us who have a problem with this lifestyle just need to be educated. We just need to be brought up to date on things. Like we're just so settled in our archaic ways. So they feel like what they do and the reason that they have set forth in their mind is supposed to be acceptable to everyone. So to them, when they walk outside with their behinds hanging out and their stomach hanging out and any other part of their body that they can get away with not having a piece of fabric on, they feel like we're the dummies. We're the ones who don't know that now all of a sudden breasts aren't supposed to mean what they're supposed to mean anymore. And women can walk around without shirts on just like men. It's our fault. We're dumb. We're stupid. We don't know. But I beg of you to please Let's look at the condition of society when everyone had enough decency to follow laws and order. And let's look at the condition of society now. They out here worried about the birth rate. They're worried about the population falling. And I know we black folks like to sit up here and cackle talk about that's just them white folks. That's just them white folks. It's not just them white folks when we leading abortions. When black women leading abortions, it shouldn't just be the white folks concerned about the birth rate. We should be concerned about that too. But we're so busy being body positive and sex positive. There's an organization called the Theosophisis Society, the Theo something society, theological something. It's not theological, but it's Theosophisis or something like that. Anyway, there's this woman named Alice Bailey, and if you're familiar with the world infamous Satanist Aleister McCrawley, who coined the phrase "Do what thou wilt shall be the whole of the law," they worked closely together, and therefore she went to lead this society. They formed this company called the Lucius Trust, which was a printing company, and supposedly there's this big Satanist ring, right? And so one of their goals, they have 10 goals. You can look it up online. It's like 10 goals to the New World Order. One of their goals was to allow men and women to enjoy sex as much as they wanted to and be free from the consequences. And if you look at the world we live in now, it seems like they've succeeded, right? To the point where people just don't even try with birth control anymore. They don't even try anymore because it's their body. And if they don't want to prevent a life from forming, they don't have to. And if they want to turn around and end said life that happened to form, that's their right to. And we're living in a world that is okay with this now. And we're so busy in denial about our condition. That's just them white folks. That's just them white folks. I was I was watching this documentary on Netflix called Titans. Titans, the builders of Wall Street. Hold on, let me read these comments. I'm sorry. Right. And get mad when a man they don't like starts looking. Exactly. Now all of a sudden he's a creep and he's a perv. But if a man was walking around with his schlong hanging out and all the women was looking, and see, that's what gets me, right? Because if a man does something that's interpreted as sexy, the women respond in such a manner. Oh my God, he's so fine. Ooh, look at him. Ooh, I shouldn't. Ooh, look at this. Ooh. Saying all the things, right? But if you turned around and these same comments were being made by men towards a woman, they would be pigs, they would be dogs, they would be chauvinists, they would be everything that's wrong with society. But it's okay when they do it. And it's crazy to me. I was watching this documentary called Titans, Builders of Wall Street, right? So, I know I love a good documentary. So it goes all into the Morgans, the Carnegies, the Vanderbilts, and their stories. It starts right before like right before World War I, the Great Depression, and it talks about this. And while they're telling the story, they're talking about how each man trained up their son, especially the Morgans. You know, J.P. Morgan Chase, the progenitors of that multi-trillion billion dollar at this point banking conglomerate. Okay, so from the beginning, when the first JP was a banker, his whole goal was to train up his son to continue in the legacy. And then you see the son, and he his goal is to train up his son to continue in the legacy. So you see this being passed down from generation to generation. Every father made it their point to have multiple children And then the oldest son out of those children was appointed to continue the legacy, right? So I'm watching this, and we've watched JP Morgan Chase exist for hundreds of years now, right? Then I was scrolling and I saw a article about Madam CJ Walker and the one daughter that she had. The one daughter that she had. And now, just in case you don't know, Madam CJ Walker is the first Black woman millionaire, honey. As they will proudly remind you over and over again, she made her money off the back of Black women's hair care, okay? She gave us the pressing comb, I believe. And, she did her thing, right? She only had one child. That child turned out to be in the community and never had any children of her own. She adopted a child, right? But before she died, she kind of blew her mom's whole fortune. Like, she blew all the money. She didn't care about maintaining the business. She just wanted to live the high life in Harlem. So she's like New York elite Black society. She was more concerned about doing that than with continuing the business. So now her mom's legacy is basically like just a museum and some writings and stuff. It's not what it should have been had the legacy continue, right? But this is what gets me, because you have a white family, this white man, JP Morgan, got married, had children, and brought his children into the business so that their family and their family's worth could continue to grow, right? So his future generations, or wise man, leaves an inheritance for his children and his children's children. Okay, they're sitting up there doing that. But this Black woman who was a millionaire, it kills me, right? Because I can only think, I don't want to assume, but what it looks like, if she was living today in modern times, it would look like a woman who bought into the feminist idea that I don't need to have children to be fulfilled, and I'm fine by myself, and I don't need a man, and I don't need this, and I don't need that, and I'm okay all alone. But you see the result of that kind of thinking when you look at the fact that the only reason we really remember her is because she was Black. She was the first Black woman millionaire. We don't remember her with any kind of current appreciation because her legacy stopped after her legacy stopped. Her daughter spent up all the money. What is left? What is left? Whereas if she would have been wise, married a good godly man, and had children, who knows the potential? I mean, she could be out here competing with the Bronner brothers of the world. Black hair care could have been a reality. You understand what I'm saying? This is before relaxers, sew-ins. This is before all of that. That could have set a foundation for Black hair care to be in the forefront. But instead of us adopting the behaviors of those in better socioeconomic conditions, we choose the behaviors of those who are either around us or below us. When I was reading about the feminist movement originally, there were women who were not with they weren't with it. They said, we're fine. I'm at home. I stay at home. My husband takes care of me and I take care of our children. I'm not trying to go to work. What is this? And again, picking up horrible behavior, because while poor white women were begging to get into the workplace, poor Black women were never stopped from working. So why would a fight to be forced to work be Black women's business at all? Instead of, let me tell you what really, one of the things that did it for me, working um working with doctors, and especially working with my last doctor that I worked with very closely, and just hearing how he talked about his day, but always noticing that his wife was home with the kids. She was home to make them breakfast. She was home to get them off to school. While the kids were at school, she was at the gym. She was at Target. She was doing their grocery shopping. She was working whatever little business they had a room in their house. I mean, they had many rooms in their house, but there's a room in their house, and this is particularly supposed to be her office. So whatever business she was working at the time that they did their taxes, they just put it on their taxes so they could write off the square inches of the room. I mean, like, I'm hearing about this woman living this absolutely lovely life of leisure where she gets to do lunch on a Tuesday whenever she wants to, while I'm sitting up here working, suctioning, passing sponges, cleaning instruments, and letting this man tell me what to do, right? And then as I grew with the company, I was able to peek into their finances, and I see you're making over $1 million a day. Now I'm looking at my paycheck, and I'm looking at my kids, and the fact that I can't be there with them, but I got to sit here and listen to you tell me about how your wife gets to be such a great mom while I'm sitting here breaking my back to help you support your wife so she could be a good mom. Are you freaking crazy? Why do I want to keep being here? Let me go get me a husband so he could go and I can stay home and be a good mom. But instead of us looking at those who are doing better than us and adopting their behaviors, we'd rather look at the angry woman who's sitting right in a cubicle next to us and try to figure out, oh my gosh, how is she being such a great single mom? Let me go out here and be a single mom too. That's right, girl. We don't need no man. And what's crazy is, instead of y'all figuring out how to compromise with a man so you can have a whole and fulfilled relationship, you'll go out here and build a fake community with a bunch of cackling hens. It does not make any sense to me. You're being influenced by the wrong influencers. Somebody put their big old butt in front of a camera and that's enough for you. But let a woman come on here talking about how she take care of her husband. I bet he cheating on you. Why you don't never say that to the hoes? How come you ain't never, where is the warning for the hoes? Why is it never, girl, them men don't love you. Hey, they just using you. Hey, you shouldn't be doing this. You know they don't really mean none of this. Why you don't warn them? Why is it always the women that are doing what they are supposed to do that you got all this warning and discernment for, but you can't keep it for yourself? Still ain't got a man. I started hiking with my daughter, and we joined this I joined this black hiking group. It's called Black Hikers United. And one of the common themes in the group is how black people tend to have this idea of white people stuff. Like stuff only white people do. And please hear what I'm saying. I'm not here. This is not let's glorify white people speech. No, that's not what I'm saying. They just happen to be the biggest representative of a better social economic class to those of us who do not know better. I'm very well aware of the black upper class. I live among the black upper class, okay? So I'm not saying that black people can't do great things. That's not what I'm saying. I'm not even saying that black people don't hike, because yes, we do. But again, the common thought among most black people is, oh, that's something only white people do. We have got to get out of this mentality that, oh, that's not for black people. Everything is for black people. The earth is for you. The earth is for you. You were made from the dust. You go outside and the sun energizes you. It does not burn you. Well, I mean, if you stay out there too long. But the initial reaction of the sun is to energize you. We always like to talk about how we're so connected. We're the original people. But yet we keep falling for lies. If I come into your house and I see you living a certain way, and then I tell you that the way you're living is wrong and you need to do this better, and my intention is to steal your house and your land, I've observed what you're doing. And I know for a fact that the way you live is better, but I'm going to make you think that you're inferior. Something must be wrong with you if you need to take all those showers. And people have actually tried to argue with me about this because I'm a very avid, at least 2 showers a day person. My doctor said that dries out your skin. Well, let me introduce you to a little thing called lotion. Okay. You know, they make body washes with moisturizer now, but these people will find any excuse not to admit that, yeah, I need to be washing my behind more often. So much to the point that they will look down on those who do as if we're the ones that are doing something wrong here. As if we're gross for using washcloths. We're gross for using towels. It's like when people tell us that we don't have to keep the law anymore because you couldn't. Nobody could keep the law. Nobody was perfect. So you just couldn't. So you mean to tell me that you go every day of your life without breaking the laws of this land? And I know you don't because you speed, you be on your phone in the car, you don't move out the way for when you hear sirens. I see that happen on the road too many times. You don't move out the way for the police, you don't move out the way for the ambulance, you probably cheating on your taxes. But for some reason, they won't get rid of this pesky law. Like America is not throwing away its laws, even though it's being proven every day that people can't keep them. Look at the jails. Look at how full our jails are. If there's one place that it's evident that people cannot keep the law, it's with the amount of people that are in jail, but yet and still they won't do away with the law. You know how crazy they are about the law? It's so crazy that states will legalize marijuana, but not the federal governments. The direct subjects of the federal government are saying, hey, you know what? These people are going to smoke this weed anyway. Let's just let them do it. Let's just regulate, whatever. They've come up with a way to allow people to do the thing that was once illegal. And even on top of that, the federal government is like, no, we don't care. So why do you feel like that? Oh God, I can't keep the laws. It's too hard. It's too hard for me. It's an excuse for you not to have to do it. When you are in school and okay, I was taking anatomy and physiology, right? And I was doing good at first. I was doing good. Like first couple of tests, I got an A. Didn't even really have to study. Might have got a B. Didn't really even have to study. I loved the class. It was intriguing. The professor was cool. Like he was interesting. So I loved this class. I'm like, cool. I got this in the bag. I got this class. I'm not going to worry about it. It's going to end with an easy A. Got to that third or fourth test and I got a D. When I tell y'all I collapsed, I called my mama. I was crying. I was questioning my whole life. It was, oh my goodness. I went to the teacher. It was just terrible for me. Like, how? I thought I had this in the bag. I had been doing so good. I could have chosen at that moment to give up, right? Because apparently I'm not getting this. A D is so close to an F. I consider that a failure. So apparently I'm not getting this. This ain't working for me. And I could have given up, but I did not. And I ended the semester with an A in that class, right? But if I would have taken the attitude that some of you all have toward the word of God, at that first D, I would have been like, well, I can't do it no more. Nope, obviously I can't do it. So God, we're going to have to come up with something else. Like, this is not going to work for me. Some of y'all will play the lotto day after day, year after year, month after month. Not one time do you ever say, you know what, I'm not hitting this. Maybe I should stop. You keep feeding that machine and feeding that machine and feeding that machine, don't you? But you can't give the same consistency to keeping the law and the standard of the Most High in your life. You're going to have urges. The Bible said don't have sex until you get married. It didn't say you wouldn't never want to have sex until you got married. You're going to find food that tastes good. The Bible did not say that you can't eat. It said don't eat too much. We were given a set of laws and instructions in order for a reason. It was God's intention for us to be the elite, for the keepers of his word to be the elite, to be the ones that set the standard. But now we live in a whole topsy-turvy world where the people who blaspheme and disregard the word of God are actually the ones that are running the world and setting the example and ruling over us and forcing us into things that, you know how much pork they sneak in this food? And it wasn't until I stopped eating pork that I realized how much pork was everywhere, to the point where you have to be vigilant against it. Why? Because the people in charge do not care to keep the laws of God. They don't care what you put in your body. The people who run social media don't care about your soul. They just care about what's going to get the most attention. They'll tell you that all the time. It's about what gets the most attention. And right now, ass and titties is getting the most attention. So that's what you're going to see. People being shot in the street. I never in my life thought there would be a day when I could just scroll Facebook and see 3, 4, 5, 6 videos of people being shot point blank, back to back. We have adopted behavior most undesirable, and we have tried to normalize it. We have rationalized it to the point where we make jokes about it. And I get it. Laughter is a coping mechanism, and laughter is a tool and medicine and all that good stuff. But we are at the point where we are making jokes about our own destruction. We're cackling and kikiing about AI. AI is destroying the economy as we know it. But we're just over here laughing and chuckling and having a good time. And as long as I can flick my stories and see somebody is out there having a good time, so I know somewhere it's possible, even if it's not just me. The people around you currently are not going to understand the changes that you want to make in their life, and it's not for them to understand. The upper class does not try to appeal to the lower class. It's always the lower class begging the upper class to let them in. It is easy to move downward in any direction. Socially, economically, it's so easy to move downward. So easy. And it's so easy for them to make you think that your dissension was your decision. People can't afford rent nowadays, so they're living in their vans. Oh, look, let's get some influencers on social media, and look how cute it is to be homeless. And it's so much so that they have changed the word from homeless to unhoused to take away the severity of how real homeless people are living. I hate the term unhoused because that could mean anything. I could be living in an apartment and you could say I'm unhoused. Homelessness is homelessness. And if you're not choosing to be homeless, it's a miserable and horrible existence. But we've been fooled into thinking somehow that living in an RV and stuffing all of our belongings in a box is living. That's an adventure. They used to call that vagrancy. It's vagrancy. Having to work 2 and 3 jobs is not a side hustle. You're not a boss babe. Being out here committing ID theft. I'm talking to you, Scam Lana. Committing ID theft during the day and then shaking it at the blue flame at night does not make you a boss babe. Yes, it's easier to be a heathen. Yes, it's easier to be a thug. It's easier to be a hoe. It's easier to be a sex worker. It is. Especially when you can do it virtually. Back in my day, you had to be in a club. Now, you mean I can do it virtually and they can't touch me? Sure, it's easier. But what are you going to do when you close your eyes for the last time and you have to explain your behavior to your creator? I want to say, what are you going to do when you grow up and your kids find out about your past and you have to explain it to them? But I forgot, y'all don't even care what y'all kids think. Y'all don't care about your kids. You sure don't care what they think about you. All you're going to do is tell them to shut up and go in their room. So you're going to live the life that you keep chasing. So if you keep chasing the life of a whore, you're going to live the life of a whore. You keep chasing the life of a strong, independent Black woman, you're going to live the life of a strong, independent Black woman. And I'm going to tell you what, when you're sitting up here spouting all this strong, independent Black woman ideology, don't come over here looking for my husband to protect you from nothing. Because if you were in a place to want to be protected and doing what you had to do to be protected, you would have your own man to protect you. What are Black women supposed to do? None of the Black men will protect us. You told them you didn't want them to. You told them you didn't need them. You told them, shut up, your opinion doesn't matter. You told them it's my body, my choice. You told them these my kids and we don't need you. Remember all that stuff you said? And now why you won't protect me? You told me you didn't want me to. No, I'm not signing up my husband to put my family in jeopardy because you want to go out here and act a fool. Protect Black women. Protect yourself. Care enough about yourself not to put yourself in situations where you need protection. And let's keep it real, because that's what y'all talking about. I was talking crazy to this man and he started talking crazy back to me. Why won't no Black man protect me? If you wouldn't have been talking crazy in the first place, Stop following these baddies. Stop following them. That's not the life you want to live. It's all good when you're 19 and 20, but 25, 30, 35, and 40 is coming for you. And the way y'all living these days, y'all got 40 years of life experience on a 20-year-old body. You got the body count of a 50-year-old and you're only 25. Stop lowering yourself to the behavior of the lower classes. You think you're too good? Yes, I'm too good for certain behavior. This is nothing personal. Like I told my daughter, the name of the game is self-preservation. It's not personal. It's about all of us trying to build up our families and build up our legacies so that we can please the Most High and leave a story of him on the earth. That's what it's about. So that many, many moons from now, when the Lord calls us home, our children will still have the testimony of the law and the faith to keep his name alive in this earth. That's what it's about. It's not about scrolling through your social media years from now and seeing how, ooh, look how I used to look back then. Because if you keep yourself in the Lord, you won't age like a bag of flowers sitting out in the sun. Paxton and Atticus, ladies and gentlemen. Finally, okay, come on. You're here now. So what you got to say? What you got to say to the folks?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, everybody. That's all you had to say. Judy Rogers, Salon and Salon. Thank you so much for joining me. I got my fan, y'all. I love this fan. Oh, my goodness. Listen. Yeah. I love my fan. If you have not already, hold on. What am I looking for? Where is it? Here we go. If you have not already, please head over to Amazon. Okay. Amazon. You can find my book, Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass, 8 Questions to Consider While Waiting. It is only a total of $5. $5. Okay. If you have a Kindle, you can download it on your Kindle already, or you can download the Kindle app on your smartphone, and then you can download the book so that you can read it. If you happen to pick it up, go ahead and leave a review. Let me know what you think. Tell your friends, tell your family, like, share, and subscribe. If you are not on the YouTube, please head over to the YouTube at Monologue McGad. If you're watching live, I should have said this at the beginning, I guess, but if you're watching live, just comment live. If you're watching on the replay, comment replay, just so I know you were here. And we get some comments, get the algorithm going in our favor. Okay. Let's see. Well, anything else, guys?
Yes.
Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me, Banath, Angelina, Brianna, Derek. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me this evening. I truly, truly appreciate each and every one of you. What? Go ahead. You don't know. Paxton, you got anything for the people? Good night. Okay, Paxton ain't got nothing for y'all. Thank you so much, Judy. I appreciate you so much. What was I about to say?
Mom almost cried while she was talking.
When?
And I have one more thing to mention.
What?
Mrs. Mono sips tea.
Very funny. Very, very funny. Ha 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 ha. Wait, I'm trying to think if there's anything I gotta tell you guys. I don't think so. Oh, you know what? You're absolutely right. I did not even offer the people a chance to give. You're so right. Listen, if you would like to support the ministry efforts that we have going on here at the House of Mono, you like what we're doing here on Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass, please head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono. $1 or $2 will do. I promise you, everything you give goes right back into these lights, this camera, and this action. Okay, so please head over to the Cash App, $ the House of Mono, if you feel so led. Y'all, if you're not following my husband, please follow my husband on all his social media platforms at Monologue McGad. Get in his DMs. Tell this man he need to sit down in front of this mic and do a couple of classes, some Sabbath classes, and all this stuff. Now, I will tell you this. He has been working very, very extremely hard. The Most High has definitely been moving in our businesses. We are growing. We are expanding. But I also know that the call of ministry on his life cannot be ignored. So please continue to pray for us that we get some steady, reliable help with our businesses. And therefore, we can focus on our ministry growing more. Okay? What's up?
So this week we have 8 bounties. So that means $80 for us. So we're gonna be rich. And I might gift something to a lucky subscriber on our channel.
What? Get out of here, Atticus. This boy. All right, y'all. Listen. Prayers for a great rest of the school week. I hope your kids knock out whatever tests they have coming up. May their homework be easy on you. I don't know about them, but may it be easy on you. May their little neurons be firing. They just have a great school year. I'm praying for the safety of all of our kids out there, y'all. Please get involved. pray for your children. If you feel like something is off, don't send them to school that day. I don't play about these threats, all right? And my girls, when they were in high school, they used to get mad, but they was talking about a threat to school, and we would make them stay home because it's too late after. They always be like, oh, it's just a threat. It's just a threat. It's too late once it's not just a threat, okay? So, please, y'all, I'm praying for you. Sorry, that was my fan. I'm praying for all the parents out there and all the kids that this school year be productive and only add to us and not take away from us, okay? I love y'all so much. Thank y'all for hanging out with me. We'll see you right back here.
One more thing. Pray that our teachers get sick so we don't have any more
No,
school.
we're not doing that. Don't say that. Why would you want your teacher to get sick? Do you want me to get sick?
No.
I'm your mommy. You want me to get sick?
No.
Guess what? Your teacher is somebody's mommy. Do her kids want them sick? No, so don't say that, okay? We don't pray for people to get sick. Okay. All right, y'all. Thank y'all so much for joining me this evening. I hope something that I said was helpful to you, whether you're listening live or on the replay. Please like, comment, share, subscribe. Even if you want to comment my hair color, either one of them, black, blonde, ginger, whatever. Whatever you want to comment, leave a comment. I love you so much. I will see you right back here next Thursday, 8 o'clock. Same black time, same black station. Thank you so much. What am I about to say? Shalom. Shalom. I love you. Good night.
Doing gang things.
Mono.
Living super clean. Ghetto came
One time for my king doing king things. Mommy's hoes cause he know he got a good thing.
Tune in to Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass with your host, Miss Mono.
Shalom and shalom, sisters and cousins, and praise the Lord, saints. It's your favorite housewife, Miss Mono.
Every Thursday from 8 to 10 p.m. live on YouTube at Miss Mono's World and Monologue Magad. Now also available on the Saya TV on Roku and Fire Stick. Why Boaz Don't Want Your Ass. Don't miss it, sisters and cousins.